The rain had stopped an hour ago, but the pavement still shimmered like black glass. Water pooled in the cracks of the abandoned avenue, reflecting the few streetlights that still flickered like dying candles. Marcus Hale adjusted the strap of his security guard jacket and shivered. The logo on his sleeve, Graveson Security, Downtown Division, was peeling at the edges. It's like everything else in this part of the city. He'd been called out to check a disturbance on Lawton Avenue, a stretch of road closed for renovations for the past 6 years. Nobody came here anymore. The shops were boarded up, the windows of the apartment blocks shattered. Only stray cats and the echo of old sirens haunted these streets. But someone, somewhere, had called in a report of lights failing and strange noises after dark. Marcus didn't know who would even care, but a call was a call, and the company paid overtime. His boots splashed through puddles as he walked past the husk of a diner. Eddie's Grill, the sign read, though most of the bulbs were missing. A neon open sign still faintly glowed behind the dusty window, though no one had been inside for years. Marcus swung his flashlight across the interior. Red vinyl booths coated in mildew, a lone coffee mug on the counter, crusted with something black. He felt a twinge of unease. How had that stayed there after all this time? He turned back to the street. The night was thick with fog. The few remaining streetlights buzzed overhead, their light yellow and sickly. One by one, as he moved, they flickered off. He noticed it first as a trick of the eye, the way the light dimmed and brightened, but then the poles actually died, leaving entire stretches of pavement in darkness. Electrical grid must be shot, he muttered. His voice came out too loud in the silence. He rubbed the back of his neck. The air smelled like iron. Marcus checked his phone. No signal. The digital clock at the top flickered. 12:14. Then blank. Then 0 o'clock. He frowned and shoved it back into his pocket. Kept walking. Past the laundromat with its cracked windows. Past the bus stop with the ripped advertisement for a movie that had premiered in 2017. The fog grew thicker. He thought he heard footsteps behind him, soft, wet, following his own butt. When he turned, the street was empty. A shadow shifted near one of the lampposts. It looked like a man, tall and thin. But when Marcus aimed his flashlight, there was nothing. Just a pile of garbage bags slumped like bodies. He told himself it was his imagination. He'd been on too many night shifts lately. But then he saw something that made his heart thump. The shape of a child's tricycle, sitting in the middle of the road. Rusted, one wheel missing. No children had lived here in years. He stepped around it, not wanting to touch it. As he moved, another streetlight blinked out. Then another. It was like a wave of darkness advancing down the avenue, swallowing the glow. Picked up his pace. "Just finish the check, call dispatch, and get out," he whispered. His flashlight beam trembled. He reached the intersection at 5th and Lawton. The old movie theater loomed there, its marquee letters scattered, night still visible among the debris. The double doors hung open, swinging slightly. He didn't want to go in, but the darkness behind him was growing, and some instinct told him the only safe place was ahead. He stepped inside. The theater lobby smelled of mold and sweet rot.
Popcorn kernels.
Old and black, crunched under his boots. The posters on the walls had peeled away to reveal stained plaster. Somewhere deep in the building, a projector whirred. The faint light of a screen glowed down the hall. Marcus swallowed hard. The theater had been closed for years. He followed the sound, his flashlight flicking across seats and aisles. In the main auditorium, the screen was indeed lit, but not with a movie. It was showing a grainy live feed of the street outside, the very street he had just walked. The picture flickered like an old VHS. On the screen, he saw himself, a figure in a security uniform, walking under dying streetlights. Only in the footage, the figure was not alone. Something tall and black moved just behind him, a shape with too many limbs, like a spider's silhouette. Marcus spun around, the beam of his flashlight slicing the empty rows. "Who's there?" he barked, but his voice cracked. The projector sputtered. The image on the screen changed. Now it showed him standing right there in the theater, watching the screen. Behind his on-screen self, the dark shape leaned closer, its face if it had once just a hole of lightless void. He turned again, desperately scanning the room. No one. Nothing. Only his own rasping breath. He bolted for the exit. As he ran back into the street, the last streetlight went out. The darkness that followed was not like normal night. It was heavy, almost physical, pressing against his skin. His flashlight beam sputtered and died. He smacked it with his palm, but it stayed dead. Then, from the black, a whisper. "You're late." Marcus froze. The voice was inside his head, but also all around. It was a woman's voice, soft and patient. "You're late," it said again. The shift ended years ago. He stumbled backward. "Who's there?" The figure stepped out of the dark. Not the spider thing. A woman in a tattered Gravesend security jacket, her hair matted with dust. Her face was pale and sunken, eyes like dull marbles. "You never left, Marcus," she said. "None of us did." He shook his head. "This is a joke." She reached out a hand. Her fingers were blue and stiff. "Check your watch." He yanked his phone from his pocket. The screen was blank. When he pressed the button, it flickered on, showing not numbers but a date. October 6, 2019. 6 years ago. The night the Lawton Street fire had killed dozens, including a night guard on patrol. Including him. The memory slammed back like a door. The call to check a disturbance. The smell of gas. The sudden roar of flame. He had tried to run, but the streetlights had died all at once, plunging him into dark smoke. "I'm not dead," he whispered. But around him, the city sighed. The fog thinned just enough for him to see shapes moving in the dark, dozens of figures in uniforms like his, drifting between the lampposts, their faces blank, their mouths whispering. "Join us." The woman stepped closer. Her voice was almost kind. "The street doesn't forget. It keeps us. It feeds on our patrol." The last of the fog peeled back, and Marcus looked down and saw his own hands pale and bloodless, his flashlight corroded with rust. His reflection in a dark puddle showed hollow eyes. Somewhere above, a single streetlight flickered back on. But its glow was not yellow, it was black, a void of light. It cast no illumination, only deeper shadow. Marcus felt himself pulled toward it, like a moth to a dead flame. The whisper rose to a chorus. "We patrol, we watch, we stay." And as he stepped beneath the dead light, he understood the truth. There had never been a call tonight. There had never been a check. There was only the street and the endless shift. The streetlight went out. The city was silent again.